Eidos Interactive is a video game publisher that I have always been a fan of, known for making some of gaming's biggest franchises like the Tomb Raider, Hitman, and Deus Ex franchises, just to name a few. Eidos Interactive is a very big publisher in the video game industry. Though that has been said, I feel that the origin story of Eidos Interactive has never really been explored, and not many people know where they come from. So now I am going to answer that question. Who is Eidos? Eidos Interactive is a video game studio that started out as Dumark Limited, a video game studio that was started in the 90s by Mark Strachan and Dominic Wheatley. In 1995, they were bought by the software company called Eidos. Eidos is very important because of the amount of changes they have made, and the amount of IPs they have bought is crazy. There was a stakeholder of Dumark Limited who became the executive chairman of Eidos and was pretty much one of the creative directors, and his name is Ian Livingston, who is an entrepreneur and fantasy author who designed the game called Eureka back in 1984. Eidos took over a few other video game developers in 1996. Those companies are US Gold and Core Design. Then with that, Dumark became a subsidiary that was called Eidos Interactive. Then later on in 1998, they bought Crystal Dynamics. Then in 2005, the publisher Eidos was taken over by a company called SCI Entertainment Group, which was also a video game publisher, which they changed the name to Eidos, but that was until it was taken over by Square Enix, which has been their home till this day. There is a lot of interesting information about Eidos, and I will try to go through as much of it as possible while summarizing a lot of it, because there is a lot of detail to the story of Eidos and how it became a big video game developer slash publisher that it once was, and is still highly respected to this day. Square Enix is very important in the fate of Eidos. They are responsible for keeping Eidos alive and has kept all their IPs alive and popular. Square Enix merged with Eidos Interactive, then being called Square Enix Limited in 2009. A former EA executive called Phil Rogers became an executive at Eidos, stayed with Eidos after it became Square Enix Europe, and became CEO as well as the CEO of Americas and Europe in 2013 with other executives. In August 2022, Embracer Group brought Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal. With that, they got their IPs such as Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Thief. Then Phil Rogers joined Embracer Group and formed the CDE Entertainment, which is an operative group. The crazy part about Eidos is that the company only started making video games once the chairman of Eidos met the founders of Dumark back in 1994, with Eidos at the time actually being a software company creating video compression software. Both companies decided to join forces, with both of them at the time not doing well, so they did a reverse merger takeover. Then in September 1995, Eidos bought Dumark for £12.9 million and was later put on the London Stock Exchange as Eidos. Then Ian Livingston became executive chairman and Mark Strachan left that year in 1995. The first major video game that Eidos would release is Tomb Raider, that was made by Core Design. In September 1998, Eidos bought Crystal Dynamics. Then in 1999, Eidos bought 51% stake of the video game developer Ion Storm, and many years later, there was a lot of purchasing and creating of studios, as well as the leaving of many executives leaving the company. Then in March 2004, Eidos bought IO Interactive, who at the time were developing the third Hitman game called Hitman Contracts. Then in 2005, the developers of the first Deus Ex and Deus Ex Invisible War were shut down. On the 21st of March 2005, the former president of EA, John Riccitello, wanted to take over Eidos with his company called Elevation Partners, and the deal was valued at £71 million and would add £23 million to try keep the company safe from bankruptcy, and the deal was recommended by the board of directors at Eidos. In February 2009, Square Enix wanted to buy Eidos for £84.3 million, and they wanted the deal to be done by 6th May 2009. The deal was liked by Warner Bros., who were majority stakeholders in the company, and Square Enix said that Eidos would operate as if it was before they bought them. Nothing would really change. In July 2009, Square Enix and Eidos merged to form Square Enix Europe. Eidos has had a long journey, but it never lost its core, they never lost their ability to make great video games, and they often made really good decisions that gave them such a long lifespan. And Eidos never died, but they often got reborn many times and were always changing hands, further prolonging their lifespan. The catalog of games Eidos has is really big, and there are far too many for me to mention, because if I had to talk about all of them, this video could easily be a few hours long. I have a lot of personal stake in Eidos because I have played a lot of their games, and I would honestly say that a lot of their games flew under the radar for a lot of people and never got the respect and recognition they deserved, so they often didn't sell very well. I valued Eidos because they were not afraid to do something different, and different they did. If you have ever been fortunate enough to play an Eidos game, I am sure it was a game that you enjoyed and will always remember. Eidos is rare because they have been a publisher and a developer, and they were really good at it. There have been very few companies that can be a hybrid like Eidos and be good at both, but Eidos still lives on, and they are still making games, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.